Hello, listeners. My name is Charles Scott Sr. We're here today. This is the program called Can We Talk? We come on a weekly basis, and I'm here with my son, Charles Scott Jr.
How you guys doing today? Like I say every week, remember, you don't have to just wait for us to show up on your television. You can look on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Just type in Can We Talk and Tri-State Realty. We're up to 76 episodes now.
So that's quite a bit. And you can look at any of the different episodes because they all deal with information. They're not dated. So if you look at one that was, say, produced a year ago, episode number 15, it's just as informative as today's episode, because we talk about general information as to what is going to happen when you're looking to purchase a home or if you're looking to sell a home.
Exactly. In each episode, we concentrate on something different. Today, we're going to talk about a lot of what people can do if they're already in a home. We get a lot of calls. People say the episode's about buying a house, or renting an apartment. But a lot of our viewers are actually homeowners.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about, some of the things that you can do to profit from your home or benefit from your home as far as the equity that's built in there.
Yes.
We have people that purchased homes, as
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Less than 2 years ago.
Less than 2 years ago, that have over $100,000 of equity built up in their home. And that was just a couple of years ago. If I had told them that, can you save $100,000 in 2 years, they would have looked at me like I was crazy unless they hit the lottery or they had an inheritance or someone gave them some money. But, a lot of people then were skeptical as to buying.
Yes.
Even then, they were skeptical. Now they're all smiles.
Yeah.
Because, people say, well, when is a good time to buy? And I got a lot of resistance a couple of years ago. People saying, well, now's not the right time. I'm going to wait. And the people that waited right now are saying, oh.
I'll say at least 10 out of 10 of our customers that call us to say, oh, man, I said last year I was going to wait. I'm waiting this year. They wish they bought 2 to 3 years ago. During COVID, I would say.
Well, during COVID was the busiest time for real estate ever. Imagine that. Back when COVID was occurring, and a lot of people were staying inside and at home and walking 6 feet apart.
I remember wearing a mask.
Scared to go out. Unfortunately, well, I guess I can't say unfortunately. Fortunately, the New Yorkers flocked down and bought all the houses.
Yeah,
bought a lot of them.
People still are seeing that today, even in, I'll say, this post-COVID world. We're still seeing a big influx of out-of-state buyers coming into Connecticut because it favors their location. They can keep their job in Manhattan, Brooklyn, Bronx, take the train back and forth from Fairfield, Bridgeport.
But what's also happening is people within the state of Connecticut are finding that it's nothing to travel from one city today, to one city to the other. Today I was out showing some homes, and actually I started out in Waterbury, and I showed a couple of houses there in Waterbury. From Waterbury, I went to Hamden, and then from Hamden, we went to New Haven, and then from New Haven, we went to Ansonia. So people, even in the state of Connecticut, are getting used to traveling from one area to other, looking for a home. And so that was within a period of 3 hours. Within a period of 3 hours, I was in 4 different cities, looking at homes in those 4 different areas. We call ourselves Tri-State Realty. We actually, can broker stuff out into the Tri-State area, whether it's New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. But even locally, they all say real estate is location, location, location.
And that's what we try to do is a lot of our customers come in, they don't realize, oh, I've been focusing on this city or that city, when they can broaden their horizon, go up Route 8 a little bit, and they've never heard of Ansonia, they never heard of Derby. And I take them there and they see houses and they're like, wow, this is a nice environment. Still not too far from Bridgeport, and they can get a house there for a lot less, I'll say, than certain areas.
Yeah, the logic has always been the further away that you get from New York City, the lower the price is.
Yes.
And, because it's basically supply and demand. If you got, on a given weekend, 200 people coming and looking in one particular area, and the further away you get from that area, the number drops. Maybe if you got 200 people looking in Bridgeport area, Fairfield County, then maybe if you go to Derby, Seymour, that area. Instead of 200 people, you might have maybe 110. Then
Yeah,
if you
so
go
I'll
into
say.
Naugatuck, Waterbury,
Chop that in half.
maybe you got 50 people. So the competition is less. If you go into Torrington, you might have 10 people.
Exactly. So what people need to realize, just as far as if you go to where everybody wants to live, as far as you just have your heart set on one city, you may be doing yourself a disadvantage. You may be missing out on good deals in other cities. Because remember, when you get these houses, these mortgage, people always say, oh, 30-year mortgage, 30-year mortgage. You don't have to stay there for the whole 30 years. Like I said in multiple episodes before, the average person stays in the house for 7.5 years. And we get this question a lot. After I buy the house, Mr. Scott, when can I sell it? Well, also determines if you're using any special loans. But if you're doing a regular conventional loan, you can sell a house as soon as next month if you got equity. You just got to have enough money to pay back the bank.
You can sell it the next day.
Yeah.
You know, you have investors or people, the flippers that buy a house, or the bird doggers, they call them people, wholesalers.
Yep.
They'll buy a house today and already have a buyer in place to buy it. As soon as they close on it, the other buyer can come in and flip it right over to that person.
Yes.
As long as you pay off the old mortgage or pay off the old debt and pay everything off, hey, you're free to sell it for more money and pocket the profit, or either the new owner might, not have the time to go around and look for the property. You have a lot of professional people like doctors, lawyers, that people that really make a lot of money, but they don't have time to go out and look for houses. They don't have time to look for 2 or 3 weeks or a month or 2 months. They got their practice. They'll, for the kind of money that they make, they'll lose $50,000 going around looking for a house.
Exactly.
So they rely on
Professionals.
or wholesalers or other people to look around for the house, find the house, send the photos, and then that person in turn will buy the house. Matter of fact, I had a recent case where I had a doctor who bought a house. I went and looked at the house, and I did all of the videos, and I videoed the property, and I showed her all the rooms, and gave her all the information. She knows what she's doing. She's very versed in real estate, and she said, "Okay, I'll put an offer in for X amount of dollars." She said, "Go ahead, write up the offer." She never stepped foot into the house.
Nope.
She said, "Go ahead, write the offer up." I wrote the offer up. We DocuSign. I sent her all of the materials, and she signed everything. And the seller accepted the offer. And then it was just this weekend that the doctor came down and said, set up an appointment. I'd like to come down and see what I'm buying, see what I bought.
I want to mention something to people who are looking for a house. Remember, one thing we always stress to our customers: when you sit down with us to see how it works, the process of looking for a house, make sure you inform your realtor, if not us, who else has an opinion when you go in to buy this house. I have people that see a house Saturday, and then Tuesday want to bring their uncle when they're out of work on Wednesday, and I said, this house may not be there on Wednesday. So make sure everyone that has an opinion in your house-making decision are with you when you first see the house the first time around.
Yeah, put everything together. Like in the case of this doctor, she has other properties. She knows the cost of materials. She knows if it's going to cost to fix something up. She knows what the cost of the sheetrock is. She knows how much the worker is going to charge her. She knows what the item is. She knows the area. She knows the rents. So she has all of that already. She's done her homework over the years.
So she has experience, plus my father has 39 years worth of experience. She can do that. She can buy a house sight unseen because she has the confidence in her knowledge. And my father saw it in person also to give her a BPO, a quick, analysis.
She knows the area. She knows, number one, if she buys that house, and because of the area and what the area prices are selling for, she could turn around and fix it up, put some money into it, and turn around and sell it and make $100,000.
Exactly.
She automatically knows that. She doesn't even have to think twice about it. So she knows that, depending upon how much money she puts into it, but you have to be experienced to do something like that. I don't advise that for other people to do things like that, because another person could go in, put too much money in, spend too much time fixing it up, and end up actually losing money because they don't know exactly what they're doing.
I said that to a class I taught 2 weeks ago. I told them, those who watch HGTV and these shows on TV, Flip That House, remember, that's entertainment. That's not exactly what goes on in the real world. They're only going to show you the successful flips. What about those people that bought the house and overpaid, and at that point they're selling at a loss? They didn't even order the fridge. They didn't order the stove. They're selling the house empty as is. You see the sheetrock half done. You don't see that on TV, but not everyone, I'll say, has a successful flip when it comes to investing.
Yeah, you have to have, some, an idea of what you're doing. Like I said, I don't suggest everybody buy a house on sight and scene, because most people, I suggest that they have an inspection, you have an appraisal, you have an inspection, so you have all those different things that you do to purchase the property. And plus, on top of that, in a situation like that, she's paying cash, so it's a cash deal. There's no mortgage, there's no nothing, because it's just a matter of buying the house and that's it.
And the thing is, my father approached her, and it was a smooth transaction. Now, those of you who are sitting watching us that may not realize, your house has built up equity the last 3 years. You may have moved in the house, let's say as recent as 2017, 18. Give us a call. We'll do a CMA, which is a cost market analysis, for free. What's that? It's free. That's a free analysis right there.
Free.
And between us two professionals here, over 55 years of experience, we got us both together, we'll give you an analysis of what your house could sell in this current market.
So basically, what I'm saying is that it's not costing you any money to find these things out. It surprises me how many people do not take advantage of it, and what they do is they make bad decisions and they end up, wasting money or losing money, when you could have the advice of professional people. I teach classes in this.
Yes.
I teach classes for government agencies in this. I teach classes for the nonprofits, for the HUD certified agencies. I teach classes for them as to home ownership. I have 39 years of experience as being a realtor. I was president of not only one board of realtors in one city, but two boards of realtors in two different cities.
Yes.
I've taught agents all across the state. So what happens is, a lot of times I'll talk to someone, they'll go get another agent, and the other agent will call me that they went out and got and ask me for advice.
How about that?
She say, well, these people were working with you, and you gave them a lot of advice, so they came to me, or a friend or a relative, so that's okay. But how can I do this, Mr. Scott, or what do you suggest that I do? And I sort of smile. I'm saying, well, I gave them the motivation, and they got the other agent. Now the other agent's calling me, asking me what to do.
That's all. Another thing I want to stress out to people out there who are looking for a house. A lot of people come, they use a realtor that may be a friend from church or a family member who just got the license. Nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you remember you want them to be experienced, because they're negotiating one of the biggest purchases, if not the biggest purchase of your life. And in these days and age, with the prices, being so high, you want to make sure you have a realtor that's going to consult you and say, okay, this area is going with these prices. Maybe we should look over here. Also depends on what type of mortgage you have. We've seen deals get to the closing table, and because the realtor missed one thing, like for example, there was no check for the flood insurance, they couldn't close. And they didn't, they lose their money, possibly their deposit. You have to pay for the appraisal, the inspection. Those are non-refundable.
You don't get that money back.
No.
So you gotta know what you're doing. I advise, like a lot of people out there, now is a good time to sell your property if you're looking to sell a property. It all starts with that market analysis, where we come into the house and give you an idea of what your property is worth. And that would be as of today. It doesn't mean it's going to be worth that next year, maybe even 2 months from now. There's some changes that are coming in real estate that is going to greatly affect how we sell real estate. There's a lot of changes that I would start to say proposed, but they're not proposed anymore.
Real changes.
They're going to be the law starting, what is it, August 15th?
August, yeah.
Starting in August, there's going to be a lot of changes as to how real estate is sold in the United States.
Yes.
And I can't go too much into detail. After the law takes effect, then I will be able to talk more about it and give you some ideas as to how the changes will affect you as a buyer and you as a seller. Right now, they've put it in writing. They've put it together, but the law is not finalized.
Yeah, they should execute it.
It's
I
all
believe,
been
middle of August.
It's all been negotiated. There's a lot of changes that are coming. And also, there's a lot of changes that are coming as far as values. There's things that are happening within the real estate market. Real estate goes up, it comes down, it goes up, it comes down. So there's a lot of factors out there that are taking place, which are occurring within the real estate industry. Some of them may be doing with the interest rate. Some may do with the buyers and the sellers, supply and demand. Some have to do with the laws. There's not a lot of, right now things are high because of many reasons. They're not building a lot of houses right now. Most of
No.
the building right now is apartment buildings.
I'll say luxury condos, apartment buildings. You've seen it. I'll say anybody in a major town, has there been any large structures, maybe abandoned, I'll say abandoned hotels or maybe malls? You'll notice they're starting to build apartments next to them. And you may read the sign that says luxury apartments or condos.
Not only are they building luxury apartments next to malls, they're converting malls to apartments.
Yes, how about that one?
They're converting space in malls to luxury apartments, and you have the amenities there. They'll take a big mall with an open space and put a swimming pool in there.
Oh, yes.
They'll put a exercise place in there, and they'll put apartments right around it, and they got all a big parking lot for parking, and they'll build an accessory building next to it. That's happening throughout Connecticut right now.
Yeah, definitely. And also, one thing I was going to mention also, people who may be waiting to sell their house is like, where do I go? We have a lot of clients who they do start renting for a couple of years because think about it, this equity, you only have a certain amount of time to tap into it. If you can't refinance or if you're going to an issue like maybe you're losing your house, why not tap into equity, sell your house? I mean, you may have been there for 15, 20 years. At that point, sit on the sidelines. We have a lot of people renting and they know these prices can't last forever. When the prices go down again, then they get back into the market.
To give you a synopsis of what's happening in the state of Connecticut, if you're coming in from New York City, you've got Norwalk. Norwalk, the prices of properties have skyrocketed
Yes.
because of its closeness to New York City. In Norwalk, you don't have a lot of building of single-family homes
No.
going on. You have apartments that are being built in Norwalk. Now you go into Stamford. Stamford, you have a lot of high rises. You have
Yes.
all of the hedge funds that are there. You have all of the, like when COVID hit, the stock market moved from Wall Street to Stamford.
Yeah.
You go through Stamford, it's a little New York. You got the sidewalk cafes. You got the high-rise apartment buildings. You've got all of the, younger people coming out of Wall Street. So, Norwalk and Stamford are like little cities,
I
little
get
big
calls
cities,
every day.
metropolises.
People moving from Stanford to Norwalk or from Norwalk to Bridgeport because they're feeling that pressure of
There's
the
a
New
lot of-
Yorkers.
there's
They love
A
Stanford.
lot of change up in that area there. Now, if you go to the left and the right, you got Reading, Easton, you got all
Westport
of
over there.
Westport,
Saugatuck.
Greenwich, all of the little what they call them bedroom communities there.
Yes.
Where not a lot of commercial going in there, but a lot of older homes, high prices.
Yes.
Homes with a lot of land, like in the Greenwich area, the wooded areas, but those are go into the millions.
Yes.
Now, when you come down 95 and you hit cities like, first thing you hit is Fairfield. Fairfield is a nice, quaint little city. You got St. Mary's by the sea. You got the
Yes.
ocean there. It's a quiet area, a lot of sidewalk cafes, a lot of shops to go shopping, but it's still pricey. In Fairfield, you've got all of the major boutiques and restaurants, a lot of food industry catering to Fairfield. You come into Bridgeport. Bridgeport doesn't have a lot of skyscrapers because it doesn't have the land to build the skyscrapers.
Exactly.
I talked to a planning and zoning person about 5 years ago, and I said, how come we don't have all these skyscrapers? And he said, well, we don't have the land, so what we have to do is we have a lot of old factory buildings that we're converting into apartments. So in Bridgeport, you have a lot of older buildings that are being converted into apartments.
Yes.
You don't have, and then some of them luxury, some of them small amount affordable.
And one thing you'll notice in Bridgeport, when they do build something like that, where is the parking? They dig down. They do the parking below the
Put it
ground.
underneath.
Put it underneath because there's not that much land.
Not that much land, not that much parking. And so if you go into Milford and to the Milford and Stratford area, you don't have skyscrapers and the big tall buildings, but it's a nice quaint community also. Milford, Stratford, it's near the shorefront. A lot of people like Milford years ago because you had the little what do you call it, shorefront properties.
The beach and
the
everything.
beaches are there and everything, Stratford, Milford. So the cottages, that's what I was trying to say, a lot of the
Yes.
cottages and all that. So it's a nice older community. And if you go into New Haven, now New Haven's growing like crazy. New Haven's got now you're running back into the skyscrapers. New Haven's building tons of, I just left that area more than an hour ago, and the traffic was crazy because
a
lot of building. Every street you turn on, there's developers and construction going on, and the skyscrapers going up, and all the downtown Church Street.
And it's not slowing down. I mean, you saw the news.
Yeah, it's going crazy.
This semester of Yale in September is one of the largest ever. So
Largest ever.
people are flocking to New Haven.
Flocking into. I just went down the Route 34 corridor, and I was amazed that goes from 95 all the way to the Boulevard, and
Yes.
Yale has bought all the, let's say, 80% of the land. And 60% of it is just parking.
How about that for the Yale Bowl?
There's nothing but parking. I was like, I said, wow, look at this. It's almost like a half a mile and nothing but one long parking
All
strip.
parking.
All parking. Because downtown is just going crazy and building up, and people need parking. They got shuttle buses.
I was gonna say they park there. They take the
park
shuttle.
there and they
or
take the shuttle into
Uber
the city.
back into the city.
Into the cities, and because you got Yale there, you have Yale Hospital, St. Raphael's Hospital, you got the colleges there, all these colleges. So Yale is going crazy. Yale is booming.
Yes.
And so is the city of New Haven. And then you go a little further up, you run into the cities of Hamden. Hamden's is still back. Now we're back to a quiet, quaint little city. Hamden, North Haven. And then as you go up 95, then you hit Meriden. Meriden is quiet too. Not a lot of houses for sale in those areas because those people like it. They stay there. They don't move.
Exactly.
Then you go a little further up. You hit Hartford. Well, Hartford is booming right now because Hartford is getting the flow in from people coming in from Massachusetts.
Yes, that's what I've been told. I talked to some investors out there. Boston, everyone from Worcester and down from Springfield are flocking into New Haven. I mean, Hartford.
Hartford is considered, if you look on the Google Maps, one of the top growing areas in the United States as far as real estate.
And that's the insurance capital of the world, so we got a lot of jobs there.
Hartford's doing great.
Yes.
You go up 84 west, and you run into Waterbury.
Yep.
Waterbury doesn't have all the skyscrapers. Waterbury's always been like
It's right in the middle.
The city everybody forgot about because it's off to the side. But now it's got a reawakening because people have automatically now discovered Waterbury.
Yes.
And what's happened in Waterbury is traditionally the prices in Waterbury were low. The rents were low. There was not the professional corporations that were there making all of the big money.
Correct.
So, hey, it was a laid back, sleepy town. People didn't. They had, the biggest attraction in the center of the town was the big mall. You had the Brass Commons Mall, and But now Waterbury people have said, hey, let's see what's going on over there.
We're seeing a lot of development, a lot of areas that houses that have been abandoned for years are now being brought back to life.
Right.
Definitely.
You go up and down the streets, the houses. Waterbury is known for having a lot of multi-family houses, a lot of housing, a lot of 3 families, 2 families, 4 families. Waterbury has a lot of apartment rental housing.
Yes.
Now that has caught fire because the people in the other cities that have not been able to afford the luxury apartments have all flocked now into Waterbury. And unfortunately what happens, now the prices of all the apartments have shot up.
Demand has increased. So
Supply
that
and
means
demand.
apartments are going up in value as far as the rents, and it may be displacing some people, moving them to Torrington, like you said earlier, for lower prices.
Right, and the investors are now coming into Waterbury because what's happening is they're saying, hey, I wasn't going to buy this 3-family house because the rents were only $800 a month. And if I got to pay all this money to buy it, and I'm only getting $800 a month in rent and the taxes and insurance and the maintenance, I'm losing money. But now the rent is no longer $800 a month, it's $1,500 a month.
Yes, almost doubled.
So now what's happened is you have the investors that are coming and saying, hey, it's worth it for me to buy this abandoned house. Waterbury had a lot of abandoned houses in the past. Street after street of houses that were abandoned or needed a lot of work, and nobody was really willing to go in there and buy these homes and start fixing them up. But now, because the value or the rents have gone up a lot, it's worth it. And what you see is street after street now of people in there, some streets, 5 or 6 houses all being fixed up at the same time. New roofs, new porches, new siding, new windows. Everybody's inside, dumpsters, they're going in, and because now it's worthwhile to go in there and to start fixing those houses up. So, you get two sides of it. One side where people say, hey, it's costing a lot of money for the rents to going up. Then on the other side, you have the city that says, well, all these houses that were not paying taxes, off the rolls, rubbish building up, light building up, now they're all being fixed up. They're being brought back into the city. Taxes are starting to be paid. Now we got a street full of homes all being fixed up and nice homes.
I wanted to mention that also. Those who are currently in their homes, whether it's Waterbury or any city in Connecticut, I know you're experiencing an increase in your property taxes and also your property insurance. We have a lot of customers who are calling us saying, give me a free CMA. I'm just curious. I may not be ready to sell now, but I want to know what could my house sell for in this market. And we give them the CMA, and a few of them say, okay, you know what? I'm put on the market in the next couple of weeks because I didn't realize it was worth this much. I mean, you're in a house, you may have been in there 15 years and say, oh, this old house, but to someone from New York or somewhere else say, that's a great value. I want to pay you this much for that house.
The other thing I wanted to talk about briefly, because time flies by, is if you're in a house and you're having problems making your mortgage payment or you're in foreclosure, worst thing you could do is sit there and let the bank take your house.
Yes.
Because you got time. There's many options that you have.
Many options.
We've helped a lot of people out in the last 6 months that were in foreclosure, that were losing their property. They would have ended up with nothing, and not only that, they would have ended up owing money.
Yes.
We were able to come in, get them in touch with a lawyer. We're not lawyers, we don't give legal advice, but we can get you in touch with lawyers that can give you legal advice. They were able to go into the court, stop the foreclosures, ask the court for more time. And how were they able to do that? Because they convinced the court that the house is worth a lot more money if the people were able to sell it. The bank is still going to be able to get paid, and at least the people will get some money out of the deal too. So if you're in foreclosure or if you're having trouble making a mortgage payment, we can get someone in touch with you to help you sell that house and put money in your pocket.
Remember those letters from Mr. Cooper or a different mortgager. Remember, your mortgage can be sold to other companies. Open every single letter, even if it's just solicitation. You want to make sure you don't miss any information in case you are going through this.
So until next week, God bless.
Amen.